It's what was it? Mike. I forget his last name now. Mike Mattel or Mike Malott. That's
Malott.
It. Now, is it Malott or is it Mallet?
No, I think it's. We've always pronounced it Malott.
Okay. Because there's a couple of people, that...
Here's my challenge. My challenge is, you let me know when you're inviting Artful Angie or Mike Malott to come be on the podcast, and I'll sit that podcast out if I'm still, if you still want me back around here. And you can interview them and ask Mike all about his time in Orca. And then you can talk to Artful Angie, and you can find out who Artful Angie is and have Artful Angie identify him or herself publicly, put him on camera, and let them stand behind whatever it is they're saying.
Okay.
Because other than that...
Well, Rick, I'm going to tell you right now, for the last 2 years, I've been Artful Angie.
Really?
Yes.
Have you really been?
Yes, I really have.
I'll be damned.
How about that? Right. It hasn't been Mike. It hasn't been Don Crick. It hasn't been anybody else.
Have you really?
Me. Yes, I have.
For 2 years?
For 2 years now.
You seriously? He's serious?
I think so, yeah.
I am.
I'll be damned. Well, hey.
So let's get down...
First off, shake my hand.
Absolutely. So let's get down to the rest of your bullshit.
Let's get down to
because flat honest, I don't believe a single word coming out of your mouth. I didn't last podcast, and I don't this one.
Okay.
All right. You've told the Rick Ollie story 5 different ways over the years. We've got all the screenshots of every single different way the story has changed.
Right.
All right. So that one we're already done with.
And Jeff, the ball's in your court.
The ball's in my court.
You said plenty of things.
Well, here's the thing. Unless somebody else comes and tells me otherwise, to quote you in your George Lucas story, I just have to go by what I know.
Right.
So I'm going to go by what everybody who's been out there...
So what do you know?
I know that people got 2 judgments on you and that you are refusing to pay your debt.
You're right. You're right. And I just explained to you...
I know that there's a debt collection agency that's calling you about National Grid bills. I know because that information is out to the public.
I don't get any calls at all.
You keep changing your phone number on them.
No, I don't keep changing my phone number on them.
Let's talk about Ravenswood and Janine.
Yeah, what about Ravenswood and Janine?
Well, Janine's gone on record that you're basically persona non grata in Ravenswood.
Really?
Yes.
It's never stopped. It's never stopped.
When was the last time you were in Ravenswood?
It was before my cancer surgery, so it would have been prior to 2009.
Now, the story that you gave people originally when I brought up as Artful Angie the story about why you're basically banned from a couple of different comic stores in Central New York.
I'm not banned from any comic book stores.
Rick, you are.
Oh, I am.
Cloud City Comics. When was the last time you were in there? Oh, wait, they have a police report against you because you made threats to break the plate glass window.
I have never gotten any contact from any police department in regards to any threats or anything that was said online in regards to anybody harassing me and any kind of response that I've made to them. Okay. So if there are... if
Jeff Watkins, the owner of Cloud City Comics, has told me to my face, you are not welcome in his store. You are banned from his store.
That's fine.
He's gone online on record saying you are banned from his store.
And I would...
And we know for a fact you read the thread because it was in the thread and you read it there. Because you even commented about it on your blog.
Oh, yeah.
One of the many...
I've made comments over the years,
yes, sure. And gone out of your way to delete them. Your what we call selective editing.
The words that come out of your mouth now, once they're said, they're gone. When it comes down to...
Are you actually going to fall for... Well, I said it, but now that they're out of my mouth, I don't mean them, and they're not part of my history anymore. What the... Rick, really? Are you going to sit there and tell us that?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that.
Then to quote you, you are so full of shit. Okay?
Well, that's possible.
Janine, to be fair to you, Janine has said that when the check was returned from the bank, which by any banking standards means the check has bounced,
Jeff, when did this supposedly happen? Okay,
this would
can we have a little more specifics here as far as when this took place?
Well, we ask you for details, and you never seem to want to provide them online, so I'm afraid I can't do the same for you.
Partially, it's because I didn't know we were under a judge and jury system online on a message board.
Well, Rick, if you're going to say things, then back them up. Like when you said to me how you were going to grind my bones to make your bread.
Yeah.
I'm sitting right here. When you called me a limp wrist pussy at IthacaCon, here's my wrists.
Yeah.
When you've basically said you were going to spend $1,000 to find out the identity of Art Phalange by hiring a private investigator to break into an internet service provider, which is a federal crime.
See now
the only way you would have been able to find out Art Phalange is go online.
No.
Like when you told people I was plastering bumper stickers all over Mohawk.
There's very few attorneys in this area that don't have somebody that does that type of work for them, where they could probably find out, as long as I pay the money to them to find out and make it a case.
Okay, well then we're on the case. Let's go back to the judgments. Who was it in your own comment from back in 2007 that, quote, instructed you not to show up for those court cases?
I'm not at liberty.
Was it a lawyer?
I'm not at liberty to go back.
Was it a lawyer?
Yes, it was.
Okay, what lawyer in his right mind is going to tell their client who's going to court, don't show up for court?
No, that's not what was said.
Those were your own words in 2007. You were instructed not to show up for court.
I was told that the option was mine, that the ball was in their court until they had played their hand, till they had.
So let the officer of the court back that up. What was the name of the lawyer?
No, I'm not going to disclose that information.
Full of shit, ladies and gentlemen. Full of shit.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Now, like I was saying before, with Janine, she's been on record as saying when the check was returned from the bank, you made good on the check, which by her standards means you didn't bounce a check in Ravenswood. I'm sure the bank would say something different.
Well, I don't know. I'm not speaking for the bank. You seem to be the one putting the words in the banker's mouth. And the one's putting words in Janine's mouth.
Well, what do you call it when a bank sends
I don't even know when this took place. I can't tell you anything about it other than the fact that I have no recollection of ever bouncing a check at Ravenswood. And every time I've gone into Ravenswood, I've spent over $100, walked in, bought whatever I wanted, and left. Nobody gives me any grief in there.
Well, now that you know who I am, like you said before, you can have me standing right there by the register and spend $1,000 in there. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
Okay. You heard it right here at East Coast About Heroes, folks. He's actually going to go into Ravenswood and spend $1,000. Bear in mind, though, he said he's not a man of means. So where's this money coming from?
What do you mean? I didn't.
Were you saying that earlier?
Not a man of means.
You're not a man of great means. Was what you were saying before when you were talking about taking everybody to court. You just said it not even 30 minutes ago.
I said that it comes down to where a person wants and how they want to spend their money. You can say whatever you like about me. Is it something?
I'm saying what everybody else is saying.
Well, who's everybody else?
Well, let's start with Tony and Isabella.
A couple dozen people?
I've got a couple of questions from Tony and Isabella for you regarding your work with Rubenstein and Todd for this new comic book.
Right.
Quote, how does he define working with Joe Rubenstein and Mort Todd on a comic book?
How do I define it?
Correct.
I define it in that Mort Todd's abilities in regards to coloring.
What is he colored?
And lettering. He's done some work for me.
How much work have they actually done for this comic, and have they been paid for it?
Yes, they have. And in fact, why isn't Tony and Isabella contacting them both? Okay?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because this next paragraph says just that. My information is that all Todd has done is color a Rubenstein drawn, and given Rubenstein won't draw a line until he's been paid, I suspect that that's all he's drawn, one pinup. Is that true, yes or no?
Joe's actually done some other work other than that. In fact, he's working right now on some things.
Okay.
And when it comes down to payment, I'll leave that up to Joe to share with whoever he wants to share it with.
Okay.
Okay. Again, I didn't come here expecting to be cross-examined. I just told you.
Well, you were the one who said that you wanted.
I told you from the giddy up. I got nothing to hide, and I'm not hiding anything. But there are some things I can't comment on because of the time that's passed.
Let's do that. Let's talk about how you've got nothing to hide. This is a direct quote from you in a Facebook message to me.
Right.
Let's see here. Where you talk about, hey, Jeff, might want to go to the About Heroes comment and remove all those posts placed by Alec Frazier. These are the layers of one-sided stories and lies that my haters now use to trump and make it appear that everything they say is gospel truth.
True.
It is true.
Yeah.
You've not paid artists. You've sat there and tried to...
There's legal... First off, when you say not paid artists...
Yes.
We went over that already, okay?
We went over what you think
I explained
is
to you
the truth.
I explained to you my platform, which was supported partially by legal advice that I'd gotten over the years in regards to those particular
so these lawyers are giving you legal advice?
They have, yes.
Okay. And you don't want to go on record with the names of the lawyers so that this legal advice can be backed up? Because every lawyer I know, and Rick, I've been in this town for...
Right.
42 years, minus 10 in South Carolina.
Right.
I work at, Players of Utica with some very intelligent lawyers.
Sure.
And over the last 2 years, when I've sat there and said to them, would you advise one of your clients to not show up for a small claims court and then tell them you'll get it overturned in appeal? And they said, I would never do that.
And here's the thing. That advice coming from the attorney was not necessarily him directly telling me, don't go there. It was telling me what
you just said
options.
Instructed. The word instructed. Do you not know what the word instructed means? I can pull up Wikipedia for you if you'd like.
Instructed from the standpoint that those attorneys, those two attorneys involved, had told me, okay, how I turned around and explained to whomever at whatever time on a message board what I thought my options were out of my mouth. Okay. What I'm saying is that when small claims court cases are brought, here's another challenge per se. Okay. What's holding these people back from coming after me?
They have
legally.
According to
no. I'm not talking about small claims court. I'm talking about a full-blown lawsuit for the amount of monies total per team.
But that's not how the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act works.
No, wait a minute. I'm talking about the fact that in the case of Chuck Dixon, Chuck put together this team. The different teams that he put together for those specific stories. Okay? In order for me to gain by paying them, I have to first have their cooperation, and I have to pay everybody, not just Chuck Dixon. Okay?
But it's been 5 years since you've had these judgments.
Hey.
So you don't want to pay them in the 5 years?
I'm not talking about the small claims. I'm talking about the burden of this whole push against me, the person that supposedly owes these people outside their contract, is on them. It's not me.
Well, let's talk about your con then in 2004, the Mighty Mini Con.
What about it?
And the unpaid debts there.
The 2003.
Or maybe so you even know what year you didn't pay debts on.
No, I know that 2003 was the last public, per se, Mighty Mini Con.
Oh, so there was that private one you had in 2007 in Old Forge that no one has any pictures of.
No, it wasn't Old Forge.
Oh, where was it?
No, it was up in Woodgate.
Oh, okay.
And it was a bunch of people that enjoyed comic books got together, and we spent a weekend camping.
That's not a con, that's a party.
Well, party, con. It was done under that header. The costs of things, certain things were provided for those people, and it came off as a fun time for those involved. But
where are all the objects that you accepted as donations for the celebrity auction you were going to be doing at your Spooky Con?
I never collected anything from the Spooky Con.
According to what I'm seeing online, and this has been talked about for years, you went out and collected several items for an auction that was going to go towards the Mohawk Valley chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
There is no Mohawk Valley chapter.
Yeah, because I'm the one who brought it up to you as well as JR.
Well, what was brought up was the fact that I had talked in earlier times in those message threads about how Orca, through me and a couple other people, would go to conventions like the Pittsburgh Comic-Con, and where their auction efforts were concerned, specifically, as I told you just an hour or so ago, the Pittsburgh Comic-Con, their charity that I think they still do, they benefit. They have an auction that takes place every year at their show, and those monies that they gain from those items, they get donated in, gifted in, whatever, are auctioned off, and that money goes to the that area Make-A-Wish from down there. Now, up here, we have worked with, and I understand that you don't like to talk about things beforehand, okay? But had I known this is what we were going to do...
Do you honestly think I'd have told you in advance, by the way, I'm
you didn't have to
Artful
tell
Angie?
me. You didn't have to tell me you were Artful Angie. But the point is, if you'd said, I want to talk about this, this, and this, I could have actually brought you documentation.
Well, you can send it to me, or you're always more than welcome to come back. We're looking at having Don Crick, perhaps, or Alec come back to the next podcast.
Well, that's
You're more than welcome to sit in the room with us and
I came
talk
into
about
this with you sincerely, and
well, don't you just hate it when you try to go into something sincerely and they screw you over? Boy, that's almost irony, I would believe. Like Gail Simone tried to come into your con sincerely, and you still didn't pay her everything you owed her for her travel expenses.
I paid her what we had agreed upon in regards to her traveling.
Okay, that's, according to you, it's the same old story, and it's the same old excuse of, well, we didn't agree upon this, and we didn't agree upon that. Rick, do the stories really honestly change year after year in your head? Because all I ever get from you when I see your stuff online is you're full of shit, pictures of toilets, crude insults to people, just because they're honestly saying to you, you owe us this money, you did this, you did that. Why don't you stand up for it and do something about it? And your response to them is, go piss up a rope.
Yeah, because I'm not accountable to them.
You don't consider as a Marine that you're accountable to yourself?
Now we're going to talk about Marines.
Well, you're the one who keeps bringing that one up left and right.
Listen, a Marine is somebody that
has pride in their actions.
Were you a Marine?
I was in the Army.
You were in the Army?
Yes.
Were you a Marine?
No.
How many Marines do you actually know?
Several.
And have you ever put them on point in regards to the way you're putting me on point right now?
No, because they've never let their actions go like this.
Bullshit. Listen.
Oh, so you're saying that it's okay for Marines to fuck other people over?
No.
Because that's what you just said.
No, that's not what I said.
I sat there and said that, your actions are totally different than their actions, and they take a point of personal pride in how they behave, and you say, oh, no, that's bullshit.
I take a personal pride in how I behave, too.
Really?
Yes, I do.
So putting pictures of toilet paper and toilets on your website and telling people all up and down, left and right, that Gail Simone had sex with everybody in her high school, and that's why she wanted to be a
I never said anything about Gail Simone having sex.
Oh, my God.
Produce it. I've never said anything about Gail Simone having sex with whoever, okay?
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Really. Produce
folks,
it, Jeff.
It's going to go, the screenshots are there, so I'm definitely calling on our listeners to go ahead and put those screenshots back out there. So
yeah. Go for it. Pull them out of the closet.
Well, here's my other question. If you, as a Marine, have the pride to stand by your words and actions, why do you suddenly delete so many things off your blog when you're called on them?
Those things that are deleted off a blog or deleted anywhere off the internet are all able to be pulled up at any given time.
Absolutely, because they're screenshotted, and then when you turn around and tell people, I never said that.
No, not just because they're screenshotted, because they're saved on the servers that they originate from.
Okay.
And all it takes is a legal order, a legal piece of paper to get that information released in print for any type of legal ongoings that are going to take place, okay, in anybody's life. Okay?
Well, it's not even a question of legal, Rick.
What you're coming down to here is you're telling me that I don't have any right to put something out somewhere and then turn around and delete it because either I don't believe that what I said was a smart thing to say, which doesn't mean it's
That's
gone.
exactly what I'm saying, is that you don't want to stand by the words and actions that you've done in the past.
That's not true.
Well, then go ahead and put every single thing that you've printed. If it's on the server, let's see you put every single blog entry that you've put on there for the last 2 years back up on your blog.
All that takes is a letter to...
But see, now you want to hide. Now you want to hide behind legalese.
I'm not hiding behind nothing.
You are.
I'm not hiding behind legalese.
Because now I'm calling you a pussy on it.
Well, that's fine. What I'm telling you here is that anything that's out there in regards to a legal claim against somebody, and or if I said something about you and you don't like it and you want to take me through to your attorney and you want to,
well, I don't have to because I have the
saying,
same recourse you do.
Right.
I can go online like I have for the last 2 years
Yeah.
under a pseudonym so that I could protect my family from insults like you like to hurl at people, like you hurled at Mike Malott when you thought he was artful Angie, like you hurled at Don Crick and his new wife when you thought he was artful Angie.
I don't believe,
like you did
I
with
don't
everybody.
believe they're married. I don't believe they're married.
Even
yet,
if they're not married yet.
I'm still not so sure about,
Well, they're both. Well, actually, they're both on Kelly's friends list still, aren't they?
I hope they're happy. Well, I hope they're happy. I mean, I hope Don is happy personally.
Yes.
Okay, because I've never.
But
really
it didn't stop you from throwing insults out there at his deceased wife.
And then it comes down to the fact that before I knew Don, in regards to anything that he might have done years ago for Orca in putting together a couple newsletters, I knew him as a friend through his girlfriend at the time, who was a friend of my wife's. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there was more of a social friendship in action there, where, he tended bar at the Wagon Wheel there in Yorkville, and I'd go in and buy a beer every once in a while, sit there and chat with him. We shoot some pool. We hung out a little bit.